Boom! It's me. It's me. It's the Jupiter from Manlius, New York, aka Fifth Planet Keyforge, and I have with me my esteemed co-host for these events. Say hi.
Hey, it's Z from Texas.
Z from Texas. Nice and easy, see? Always short and sweet with Z. But yeah, so tonight we have a double header, and we're super stoked and excited for the double header. We're going to get to these deck looks and talk about the first of the two in the doubleheader is the KIP versus KIP matchup, which makes it a Civil War, and then the second is a battle of Vault Tour winners, which makes me excited because we have Flaming Hobo versus two-time winner, two-time Corey Than.
Also, Reap Out versus Sass.
Yeah,
Uh,
OG club battle too. This is like West Side Story. It's gonna go down. So let's see what we're working with here. So first I'll play our little intro clip and not waste that, and then we will get to it. All right, so let's take a look at the interaction for this game and look at what is going down. So here we have a pile that I don't need to have up. But we have, first off, we're going to take a look at Jason's decks from KIP. So Jason's decks from KIP are based on this idea that he's playing three top-notch decks, right? And he's playing his Heart of the Forest deck, which I know Z loves. He's playing
Jason is playing two top-notch decks and a heart.
and a
I
Heart.
will agree with that part.
Okay, and so I did do some like pregame like look at the decks, right? So we'll go through the three decks and stuff like that. But I will say that if I am Grant, I don't think I'm banning Mother, because Grant has a lot of tools to get rid of artifacts in all his decks, and it's quite interesting. And I don't think that Mother like is as big a problem for him as it would be for some other people. So, but that's my opinion, right? I don't think that he's scared of Mother as much as he will be of one of the other two decks that I looked at. But let's
My personal hope is both these things get see
they
real
they
keyforce.
they won't both get banned. I don't think so. I think Jason will ban. I will go on record early saying I think Jason will ban his heart deck because Jason doesn't have any artifact control in most of his decks, and I think that Grant will not ban Mother. I think Grant will ban FR Torkin Rune or whatever it's called. But why? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about FR Tory Croon of the Streetwise Deep. Why I think this deck is pretty legit is it's basically like triple Infernus Hysteria shenanigans. That's really all I got to get into. Harlan says hello to everybody. Say hi, buddy.
It also has a key to disc there for those Infernus, like to purge creatures that you may want off the board too.
And
Kind of cool.
a double tribute, double Six Emperor is pretty gross. There's just a lot of things in this deck I don't want to deal with, right? And then it has the speed too because you have the blasters and the Light of the Archon and stuff to go on, and then you have the Kirby's to get like tons of value off of that transporter platform. So it's kind of scary to me. And like I said, Grant does have artifact control, so the platform probably not as bad as it would be for some people. But in the end, like I think there is definitely a like out of the three decks I see here, this is the deck that I just don't want to deal with the crap that it does. So that's my take on FR Tory Croon, without getting too in deep into it. But how do you feel about Tory Croon? Do you think it's a top tier?
I oh yeah, Torkrun is definitely like one of those decks that I can look at on paper without testing. Identify that its floor is an A minus, meaning that it is like the minimum value of the deck based on the stuff I know about the meta, based on the way the game played and the cards in the deck. You're looking at a deck that is very competitive in a vault immediately. It takes testing and lots of gameplay, lots of reps, lots of like nuance finding to name anything like a solid true A deck. Nothing can, in my opinion, can be just looked at and said that this is definitely an A in all formats.
Mm-hmm.
But I can at least say this is definitely above a B plus deck.
Mm-hmm.
It's got all the things you would want to look for, except for artifact control,
Yeah.
right? Which might matter here.
Yeah.
But yeah, lots of fun stuff going on. A little sad about the specific creatures that are in the Saurian.
Mm-hmm.
If the actual creatures in the Saurian were a little bit higher value to go along with the Tribute 6 Emperor combo, I would be more confident about it. It's just like lights out good. But like Triple Legatus, Gargantodon, and Theros kind of good. The Simpers and the Tributes. But the other four are a little bit wanting. Those could have been so many other creatures from this set 3 Worlds Collide, and been much, much better.
I've become a big fan of Legatos Raptors though. Like when you get them in sequence like that together, they could be really dangerous. But then again, I'm
They
also
can be, but like there's just so many creatures in the set that they could have. Even Odoak would have been better. Like so.
all right. I was checking the delay. That's why I was doing the 1, 2, 3. If you guys were wondering, because I wasn't seeing. I was seeing like what I thought was a bigger delay, and I don't remember setting a delay. So, but it looks like we're good. Like it's not that far off, so we can actually answer you guys in somewhat real time. Um, all right. So with that said, let's move to Q Fink La Agile. This is a deck that again we've already seen. We've seen all 3 of Jason's decks, and I think Q Fink is a very very good mass mutations monster deck. Right? It has the Eaton's Jar. It has the pips in the right places kind of deck. Has the Dark Amber Vault for like tons of value. It just does good things. Like it's just a good stuff kind of deck. It has Amberlution. It can be very interesting. Just hitting on and it has like the really strong disc suite, which what everybody wants, right? Like it has the Gateway, it has the Marks, it has the Grim Reminder. It has the scale. It has the 2 Infernus with the jar. So that's pretty solid disc suite in my opinion. So this deck is gonna fly, and I don't think I don't think this one gets banned. But I could be wrong, I guess.
Fink, I love Fink. I think Mim's my favorite set to play. It's got a lot of the stuff. Why it's the favorite set to play? It's got the mutants, the Dark Amber Vault to take advantage of the 8 mutants. Essence Scale is one of the more fun cards. Infernus is dominant. Etton's Jar is pretty much one of the best artifacts in the game. Game winning against certain random decks, and the double Mark of Dis. Always been a fan of Control the Weak. It's just got a lot of stuff going on for it. And the Orb of Wonder makes whatever you want to happen. Just some fat in the deck as far as the Sanctum goes, but even though it could be considered deck fat, it at least does make a board that they have to address, or you could just reap out to victory, which is not nothing.
Yeah, every time I hear Orb of Wonder, I just hear an Arabian Night, and like go right into Aladdin. Yeah, this deck is pretty crazy, right? It's really good. And then like last but not least in his triad, he has Mother. This is a very
This
well
one's all
known.
yours, Jupe. You got this.
Yeah, this is fine. This is basically a Heart of the Forest deck where basically he sets up his value. If he gets off early with the memory chip and like doing like Archimedes kind of things and like getting all that value pulled up, he's almost unstoppable with this. If you don't have artifact removal, you just lose. Like you can't win. So the good thing for Grant in this matchup is that all his decks have artifact removal, so he's not going to fall overly victim to that, and Jason will be on a timer. The bad thing is that this deck is also a very, very good rush deck. So, like, even if you do neutralize Heart of the Forest, like, he still has Nepenthe Seed, he still has Chota, he still has Nature's Call, he still has Mimicry, still has Key Cheat, like, Key Charge. He's still going to do the things he's trying to do as well. And he's going to set the board up with Sanctum, use the logos to basically control and kind of ramp up his archives and use the graphs to his advantage if you're stockpiling. So, like, he's played this deck so many times that he's super efficient with it. Like I can't even begin to tell you all the lines that he probably has seen in this deck, but he knows them all. And I have full value. Like even if you can get rid of the Heart of the Forest, this deck will still bring the noise in some aspects. So
I will say that much. It doesn't have to.
what was
Plan
that?
B is the nut. Uh, You hear me? You're good?
You were kind of rapping. You were in and out.
Okay. I will comment that the plan B, the non-heart win, is super important. It has already got him more than one win in the KFPL where you don't actually end up playing heart, which is why it is such a good version of this type of deck, because plan B is not nothing. It is actually very threatening to many opposing decks. And if they whiff on understanding and seeing that, they could lose and have nothing to do with heart. Well,
Yep. So that's why I really like this deck. I think it's one of the best ones that I've seen as far as heart goes. And we'll take a peek at his opponent. His opponent is GrantTitus, and we'll start with his Heart of the Forest deck, which is probably the other deck that I think is one of the best Heart of the Forest decks in the world. His actually is like based on recursion and stuff more. He still has the memory chips. He still has all the value off a librarian and stuff like that. He has a ZYX researcher, which can be really tricky and sticky as far as like if you do get to deal with the heart, he gets a way to like recur it. But he also has double Nepenthe Seed. He also plays the key charge. He doesn't have the Chota Nature's Call, so I think I kind of lean towards Jason's Untamed suite, but he has a Mars suite with Hypno Beams and Key Abductions as well, and like other values and other outs. So like both of these decks are just absolutely insane, and they both pilot them a lot. So I know they know how to get around winning without the Heart of the Forest, like we said, and that's what makes these Heart of the Forest like decks super dangerous. It's like instant win if you don't have artifact control, basically, and if you do have artifact control, they still have ways to get around you. Like they can still get to a win. So both
and I
brilliant.
favor this one because it's more my play style. I've always loved Logos, always loved Mars, Coda Mars, and it has a lot of the reasons why I like
Mars.
it. Yeah. Well, I know. I've always loved Coda Mars, but it like one of those cards is Key Abduction. It is in here. That's one of the win cons. So out of the two decks, I favor this one. Hard for me to pick which one is like better as far as like
yeah, they're both amazing.
In an open field. They're very, very comparable deck.
Yeah. All right. So I'll let you take the one with Chinese text.
What do we have this listed as in our thing? On our decoded translation, it is Elk Emperor is the Chinese
Elk
one.
Emperor, that's what it was.
So this is MM, as said earlier, my favorite play. Again, we're looking at a triple Infernus this time, double Harvest Time, which could purge artifacts, which is potentially a reason why a deck could be struck in this matchup, because the artifact purge is a real threat. So you're looking at a fun disc set with lots of purge. Your Saurian, it does kind of what you would want and expect Saurian MM to do, with the double Faust, the Ludo, the double Centurion, and the City State. Also has Jupiter's personal favorite Dino Twins,
the Dino
Cherubitus and Chilla, or however you say that. Great cards. So you actually have a really strong Saurian set. There's a lot of Saurian sets that can be compiled in MM that are not going to look anything like this. Therefore, way less good. This is real solid. Not like this is the opposite of what I just said about the dinos on the other side when we were talking about Torque Rune. These are dinos that you actually want. They do stuff on play. They are effective. They do have to be answered. And in addition to all that, if you don't answer them, they're just going to
yeah, and two of them are 7 bodies with static effects, which should never have been printed.
Like the twins are great, very solid. Super happy that they made. They may be in a new set if you don't like spoilers. They could be there. Untamed is double Lost in the Woods, always a valuable card. Has gone up in value ever since Set 3 got released. You've got the Intendants, don't do anything here, but obviously there's pips elsewhere in the deck. Wild Bounty is how good? Let's see the pips real quick. You have a pip and a draw on an Untamed card, and you have a double Amber Pip in the Untamed set. So that is some value off of Wild Bounty. You've got 2 cards you could hit. Easy to make that happen with a little bit of holding, potentially.
And you have a Reclaim by Nature for more artifact control.
Yeah, for another artifact and purge control. And Fandangle, I didn't see any way to protect Fandangle really other than the Rapid Evolution, which could be good. So fairly vulnerable Fandangle, but that's still a card that they have to answer or potentially risk a lot of Amber Swing the other way.
Yep.
I think you're not seeing a lot of efficiency here. I don't know if this deck really needs it. It's just playing high value card after high value card. But you could get stuck in a 2-2-2 situation, which is the main vulnerability of all low speed decks. But still, they're going to constantly have to answer almost everything you play.
Yeah, that's what makes this deck good, is that it's not weak. Like, it has no weaknesses, really.
Yeah.
When you look at it and you go, well, the Gloria's Attendant is the weakest card. That's like a Dust Pixie that you're saying is the weakest card.
Yeah, yes, yeah.
So, like,
okay.
Still,
the Amber is somewhere, and it's potentially more abusable than just Pixie.
Yeah. So, all right, with that said, we'll look at Letha Cloud. In Letha Cloud, the Crusty Hollow Archivist is the next deck that we have on board, and this is the big 93 sass, the scary sass one. But because this is kind of like Elk Emperor, where like every card in the deck is pretty impactful. Like it comes to the table, it's very strong. It has a 5.5 Amber control because it has a different artifact control. Sorry, artifact control, not Amber control. It has a 10 Amber control. But in the reason why is like it has the Poltergeist, which is devastating. Like it's always been great, top group. But it also has double Neutron Shark, probably the best.
Double Shark, like what the heck kind of deck has 2 Neutron Sharks? My God.
Double Neutron Shark is probably the most busted thing that you can have for versatility in the game, other than like a double Mimic Gel, which I've been learning. But
if this deck had an automaton, I would pay a lot to
yes.
Whoever on their team actually owns it, like, here you go, take my paycheck.
Yeah.
But they don't need money, so they would just tell me no.
Whatever. It's all good though. But yeah, this deck just does crazy good things. JayPower says he's pretty sure that he bought this deck just to grease him.
I would not trade Galaxy.
Galaxy, there you go.
I would give money. Anyway, so back to what's actually in other than the obviously shiny bauble that is Neutron Shark. The double exhume into your Shark or your Eddie or your Jargogle or your 2 Kirby's is absolute fire. Even exhuming into, I guess that would work. So yeah, those are your real targets. Yeah, so you could potentially exhume back into your Harbinger of Doom, Draining Touch that. Exhume is very, very good here. I think if Eddie comes out early in any game, that immediately puts on a higher level of pressure just because of the recursion. The Kirby's are going to make things just go super fast because you have the 2 quadricorder plus encounter suit can easily be devastating. This is just lots of value. This is like I said, it's not hard to see why this deck has 93 sass.
No.
One of the big things that I look for is actually base arc, because that just means you're getting value without having to set up combo. You're looking at the 78 base arc deck. For those that don't know that much about arc, there are not that many decks that have above 72. So 78 is significantly higher than even the 72. Yeah. So you're just looking at a lot of value on play. And as much as like I don't like Can that much, Can's blaster is really damn good, and it's got that too.
Yeah.
So lots. Oh, and walls to recur the blaster.
Yeah.
Do it again later, or recur quadricorder, which is a fantastic card. It's actually one of the lower arc rated cards in my opinion, because its Amber control is actually only 1 to 2 arc wise. And in my opinion, it is always higher than that. Especially if walls is in deck. So yeah, I think this sass should actually be 94. But anyway, when
Lethal is your lowest like common denominator, Lethal or Malison, they're both kind of like they're disc creatures that usually get discarded or used for something else. You're doing pretty well though, because they're still pretty good.
That's probably not the only thing missing in here. Like if the deck did have an EE to kind of toss some of these creatures, like that would have been insane.
More Infernus.
Or Infernus, yeah. It's really strange when Dis is your weakest house in Worlds Collide.
Yeah.
That is not a thing that often. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
Even that, you still have the Poltergeist and Exhume. So,
all right.
All right. So I already know the strike. So before we do the strikes, we didn't get a chance to do our thing. So we never got to predict who was going to win games together. So this is our first one of the week, Jupe. Who wins
because we
the
actually
match?
have time because we started earlier. That's why. I think the person who wins the match is a friend of mine.
That's come on. We've never copped out yet.
No, I won't cop
I already
out.
know the strikes and stuff, so I have more information.
I'm gonna go with. Damn, I don't want to pick between them. I like them both, and I think they're both incredible players. But if looking at what I know of the decks and the things that are going to happen here, I think the winner will be. I'm going to go with Jason.
All right, so you've got one on your side. I already know your strikes and your whatnot, so I will abstain and I will do the voting for our second part of the feature tonight. But I do have the strikes, so let's see if you're right on that end. What deck of Grants do you think Jason struck today?
I think Jason will strike Newton's. Like
Jason's strike was the Chinese deck, the Elk Emperor with all the artifact purge.
Interesting.
So we've been right. We've been on a streak as far as these strikes go. We're not having it today. So if that was Jason's strike, maybe they practiced together, maybe they didn't. That would be weird. Who knows?
Maybe he just
one of them was claiming to never practice for KFPL anyway in chat.
Yeah.
What deck do you think Grant?
I would have struck Torcroon.
Grant struck Fink. So 0 for 2 on the strikes. My hope, which I knew they wouldn't do, was both of them strike Heart and actually Keyforge, but that didn't happen. But we will still see a game played tonight. But that is the strikes. We are actually getting there fairly early. I don't think there's anything else to fill, so I'm going to go ahead and get them in a game.
All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the close-up view here. What's up, guys? And we're going to situate the TCO. So maybe 20 minutes before is probably good. 30 was a bit too much. But at least we got it done without rushing. Like most of the time we get into a rush to get to the games on time. And I think we miss things. So I'm kind of comfortable with having some time before. And if they're ready to go, we go. If not, like we would just BS about Keyforge. Like there's plenty to talk about right now. But with all that said, I will get into the Crucible here. I will make sure my image is as big as I can make it for you people on phones, because it's like the biggest complaint I get. But it's all good. So
they are in a game.
So who are you? So who did you say was going to win this?
I already knew their strikes, so I didn't pick. I'm going to pick. You'll do the strikes later, so I'll pick.
No. I'm saying who's winning the game, though. You made me say that Jason. I think.
Yeah, but because I already knew the strikes, I had more. Even so, with strikes known, I'm actually gonna. I have to go back and look at my bracket. I'm picking Jason.
Your bracket's already busted. Don't even pretend.
My bracket is busted. I'm not like my bracket's so busted so many different ways from Sunday. It's whatever.
It's like Loyola.
It's busted. Like March Madness right now.
It's Loyola busted. Syracuse Loyola busted.
Anyway. But here we are. We are in game. They are going at it. This should probably be very fast. They're two of the fastest players in Keyforge.
Yeah, I better get you guys to the screen now because
they might be done.
At 32 minutes, this game will be over. But
Letha Cloud versus Mother Surfer Dominus. But now Letha Cloud has what 5.5 artifact control.
Yeah, a ton.
The double shark.
Yeah. I don't think this game goes well for Jay, but
a memory trip was played on turn 1 and immediately answered. That is not what you want to see if you're yeah.
I think Grant's playing with some fever pitch because we both said Jason, so he's like, kill them all.
Yeah.
Kill them all. This is the slowest I've ever seen them play.
Well, we see Letha Cloud pushing for Amber a little bit.
Yeah. JV, are you an Indiana fan? Like, I guess you might be. Or Illinois, whichever one it was they played.
Plays the Chota, discards the key charge.
Is it Illinois,
Just
right?
dumping
Yeah.
cards.
Oh, you went to Illinois. Yeah, I guess it's too early for Loyola jokes for you then.
Uh-oh.
Loyola had a great team too. That center you guys have or whatever, he's freaking huge. But anyway, back to the
Yeah, I
game.
have no idea what you're talking
Yeah, basketball stuff.
about. I figured that's all.
I do like sports.
Got a stealth mode, Star Lantern, nothing crazy going on. You got encounter suit onto your Eddie.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, that'll do work. Jason's got his first of the Seismo nonsense, but again, we know there are tons of artifact answers.
So the only card that I guess Jason has to be super cautious of as far as like a card that really could wreck him is Boardnet, right? Like you don't want a Boardnet to get online and start like taking out your combo pieces.
I think like Jason with Mother versus Lethicloud has to automatically play for Plan B here, right? Like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
you got to try to
using
win.
deck answer all of your artifacts simultaneously.
Hmm.
You just gotta like focus on Plan B. That's why we said this is a good heart deck because Plan B doesn't suck. It is a valid strategy.
Yeah.
We got to see if he can capitalize on it fast enough.
I think Lithoclaw has just too many cards that he's not going to be able to get through. But
And that's yeah. And if you're basically you're playing an A- level deck against one, and your Plan B is probably just a B plus deck. So I don't think Mother is out of it because it's Keyforge. Crazy things can happen. One of our audience knows all about crazy things can happen. So there's a chance. There's always a chance.
Insert Eric ramblings.
Seen crazy stuff. Unfortunately, it rarely ever went his way.
Eric is the one person I've seen on stream a lot, and that has always seemed to get the bad end of the RNG. So I am with him in that category. RNG sucks if you have no luck. That's been my role model. And yeah, that's why Keyforge has to be mathematical to me. Can't have cards like Wild Wormhole. I hate that card.
Well, Eric was for sure like a 1% chance up for his opponent to win away from winning a whole vault. And well, it happens.
Yeah.
That would have been a great Crucible tracker had that been a Crucible.
There's a
but anyway, back to this game.
There's a Dr. Millie to just hit.
Melee is archiving 3 cards here, so that's more value for an already great deck. He is going to need to answer, like his Sanctum can answer the Eddie. At some point, he has to answer it before his board goes away. I know he's dumping cards here, but he's in trouble. Like if the situation where he can answer the board goes away before these Sanctum dudes answer the Eddie. That's insulting. Also why I love Quadricorder and think the arc is way too low. It's giving you Amber Control, often killing one of your opponent's creatures because they have to.
That was like one of the first cards that was ever printed that was like viably better to play on your opponent's creature too, wasn't it? Like, I can't think of one before that. I remember when he came out, everybody was like, "What?" Like, no, yes,
well,
no.
Outside of Caller, yes.
Yeah. Oh, Caller, yeah. But Caller brings it to your side of the table. That's So that's still like they're dealing with that. But
when Bone Rot Venom, I guess there's a couple.
There's a couple. Yeah.
It's the only one that's like static and kind of weird.
Thank you, Harlan. Harlan brought me his phone. It's asleep. That's what we say when he runs out of battery.
There. Oh, he did get the chance to answer the Eddie.
But he's still kind of like behind here, right? Like,
I don't
know.
Not that far, actually. If he gets one more turn with this board, he would be ahead.
He could catch up pretty quickly, yeah. Sanctum doing that board work, like
we said.
Sanctum's real.
But the thing is, he can't even burst that high right now.
No.
Grant has an archive. You have to assume, with only 5 cards left in deck, Graft is there.
Yeah,
right?
Graft has to be, right?
So not being able to forge on your next turn, you're actually a bit further down than it even looked.
Yeah, that's why I was under the idea. I was like, I don't think he
Uh
has a
oh.
grazing. Oh.
Oh.
There.
There it is.
Oh!
Boom. That's gross.
Goodbye.
However, that is going to mean a forge, though, right? Is there
Yeah.
something that he can? Oh, he can.
He
No.
but I don't think he minds because there's nothing on the board. Kincaid just came in. Like he's gonna take that extra amber if he chooses a house that is he had like most likely.
That's still kind of sad taking the graft off when he was in a pretty good position to take
But
advantage
he's
of
at his
it.
second key already. Like he bursted to a second key. I think that's more important. Like oh, there's heart. I mean, there was two sharks, but one shark was already recycled.
I mean, at this point, are you just playing the heart for the amber, assuming your opponent's just going to destroy it anyway?
Yeah, I mean the poltergeist is still there, right? Was that the other card that was in here? Yeah, there's a poltergeist waiting, looming.
Mm-hmm.
The looming poltergeist, and both sharks are gone though, so that's nice. At least for this turn.
Well, he's about to draw back
Yeah,
in.
he's about to draw back.
Oh, yeah, he has one back in his hand. So
Already came back. That's gross.
yeah, heart's immediately gone. Is what just.
What's up, Harlan?
I can't imagine that Jason expected to win this matchup. So maybe his thought is whatever deck Grant has left is Jason planning on doubling down on that deck. We all know that is what Triad's about. So that would be Grant's heart deck. Are we about to see heart versus heart? I'm gonna go eat a snack or something.
I'm not looking.
What happens when two hearts collide?
Does that end the universe?
Pretty strong Star Alliance turn here. Muldoon can actually trigger the shark. That's pretty nasty. There's nothing else the way to put that. That's very gross. Probably killing the witch. Hoping you can get another fire on what, the Seismo? Yeah, I guess you have enough stuff that you would want to archive to not be wanting to worry about Tantan. Keep playing stuff. Bring Quadric back. Gives your Kincan a little bit more value. Make them deal with it. And Kincan's oddly very live. That's steel too. Yeah. Wow.
So if you have two kin cans, is that like a can? Do you have to like kick your foot over your head?
And if he calls, if he'd called Dis, he would have gotten steel 2 off of Kin again. But he's just going to reap for 3. Still think calling Dis would have.
The value. Jay concedes. He knows that this game is over.
And there's the GG. So Grant takes game 1.
He didn't take anything. He destroyed.
Yeah, he takes game 1. We will now see if the age-old question of are you going to switch happens. Lots of people had different views on that all season. It's very, very intriguing.
Well, he knows that he is headed into a heart deck. So it will be interesting. Heart on heart.
So he does stay, and so we see immediate heart on heart action.
This is now become Z's nightmare.
Yeah. If I were to have nightmares about Keyforge, this right here would probably be among them. So the question is, does either player play their heart? And are we just looking at Plan B versus Plan B?
It already has an adult rating. Like we are definitely a.
What if we say that needed? I don't
know. We need
Zix Researcher is archiving off the top. It's always a fun decision to make. And then there's the heart. It is played. So we will see something happen here in the next X amount of time.
So now the optimal goal is to be at 1 key and wait. Right? Like if you hit 2 keys, you lose. Now your opponent has like a considerable advantage, right? Like
I don't know, man.
Yes. I'm right.
neither of them have artifact control.
No.
Like, obviously, that's not something you're looking for yourself if you have a hard deck. Although there are some decks that can take the Grasping Vines thing.
Hmm. Hard on hard action. Yeah. It's just turned into a Rob Zombie horror flick.
And they
I
are
blame the Nepenthe
continually
seed for growing the heart
forging
of the
amber. They
forest.
are actively reaping for amber here.
Weird.
So they seem to have a plan.
Mm.
The mechanic is putting Grant in check,
Mm.
unless we're seeing.
Well, I think the first key doesn't matter. So like getting to the first key
There's
probably is
Lobade,
where you want to
so
be.
that's actually not check.
Hmm. But you just don't want to get that second key, because that second key means that your opponent now has an advantage because they can combo off and win.
Sure.
I just don't feel like getting to 2 keys is a good idea. 1 key, meh, not a big deal. 2 keys, very bad deal. The good thing is, I know in Jason's deck is that he doesn't have too many things that make him have to gain amber, which is nice. And with him storing all this amber on his Abad and on his Borin and stuff, means that now Grant is kind of in trouble if he gets the 1 key, because he could dump that amber like by fighting and killing things and putting it back into his pool. So that's pretty huge. So that's why Jason's deck is so good. I hate this deck.
They're both real, real good.
Yeah.
And we see key 1, forged by Grant. We expect to see key 2, or key 1 for Jason, forged here in moments. There. Oh no, he covered up the mechanic so that Jason could not forge. He's continuing to gain amber.
That's an interesting choice. I look forward to hearing their ideas at the end of this at the end of this at the end of this round. Yes, this is game 2.
Welcome, Mugluk. Grant took game 1 with Let the Cloud versus Mother, and now we have Mother versus Newton.
I saw they didn't put a timer on this one either, so we got
I did notice that. At any point in time, I can pop out and get us an exact time if we need it.
Yeah.
We're good right now.
They usually don't go to time, but we'll see what happens.
No,
They play way too fast.
Ooh, the Tantalum hit the key charge from the archive. And then this is the second time Jason is discarding his own key charge. And discards Persistent Hunting because he doesn't want to gain amber.
Right. Like this is, I said, this is that play chicken thing. Because like if Grant makes if Grant makes his second key, like Jason can then
that second key can be
Campo.
forced any time.
Yeah.
By Jason because of the Abade.
Yeah.
That will be interesting to know what the calculus was there, like the Keyforge calculus we talk about, like because Grant knowingly forged all of the amber plus the Abade.
Maybe he just wants this game to be over.
I vote for that. Yes.
I can't blame that. All right, so there's key 2.
Yeah.
Oops. Oops.
Grant is saying oops in chat.
Okay, so
we
weren't crazy.
So I'm not going to say that's the come on man. I think it could be what Jupiter said. Just like whatever.
There is the Hypno Beam play. He could take if he doesn't get rid of that Abad soon, like that Hypno Beam play could be big because he could take the 3 amber. But Jason's so far away from making a key, I don't think that 3 amber would even affect him too bad. But
because he's literally only played pips that would archive a card. We just saw the very first pip from Jason from hand. He got key 1.
Yeah. If you put Jason on that amber too, then he's just that much closer to winning. Like,
yeah.
You got it. He has 4 cards in archive. That's not a good place to be for Grant.
And like again, anytime he calls Sanctum, he can kill this.
Is it game over?
Does he have it already? This would be really early.
No, this is game over. There's no way he doesn't have it. Double full moon. And now he's gonna play all his Untamed, get a ton of value, and he's gonna key out with the Choda Nature's Call. Chota, there's Chota for the first one, and then Nature's Call will bring all those creatures back, and he'll get triple value, like off of the 3 creatures that get played again.
Yep, that's there.
Yep.
That is it.
Good game.
Hence, Plan B being real good, but
Well,
not
that
good
was
enough.
Plan A. That wasn't Plan B. That's
Oh
exactly
yeah,
how
this
he
is
hearts.
actually this is Plan A.
Yeah.
All right, GG.
All right.
Is what it is.
But now Grant is kind of in a good position because we know that the deck that is coming is not a heart deck, but it also doesn't have a control element, right? Whoops. So it doesn't have like a heart of the forest break, right? Like he can't crack it. So that means he has to play very cautious about where he is with his amber counts and stuff. Once the heart hits, if it hits. So I think that's actually just super dangerous. They're really quick at making their games too. But I think that's just super dangerous, like stuff that we're gonna see here. But I have to think that this is a bad matchup for Jason. But I know he put his work in.
I think based on what we saw struck in actuality, had either of them struck their opponent's heart deck, that could have been the right call.
I mean,
we'll see.
Tory Kroon is super fast, so it could get there, but like we'll
Still
see.
real. I mean, yeah, both of these heart decks are also super fast, so it's.
Yeah.
I am interested to see what happens.
Trying to think of like,
I guess.
Does he have an out to the heart? Like, is there a way he can get that card out of that hand if he doesn't want it to be there? And the answer is no. Like, not even close.
I mean, Triumph can actually, in a way, make you exalt enough to put Amber.
Yeah, Triumph is.
And Legolas Raptors can exalt a lot too.
Yeah, that's true. So there's a chance.
So I think, that is the out. You
have to win. Make
force Grant to have exalted creature. You have Amber, but you have to be able to kill your own dudes after you exalt them.
Mm-hmm.
There are obvious ways to make this real hard for Jason. So we'll see if that happens.
Boar's Knit too, though. That's huge.
Boar Knit for the win. That would be the most random prep ever.
I mean, if he hits heart, like, that's huge.
I mean, if he hits heart, I don't think there's an out for Grant.
Yeah, that's a big swing.
Like, Plan B is also good in Newtson, but it's not the same as Jason.
Oh, look at that. He's digging. He's trying to dig Master Theory. He's going deep.
I mean, there's already a good chance that Bornet is already offline as far as the 5 cards. But he's got to take it.
You got to look, yeah.
He looks. He sees Titan, Fixed Finger, Pip, Hypno Beam, and Mindworm. No heart there.
Oh, I don't know if Hypno Beam.
Oh, they're staring at you, Jupiter.
Who? Oh, shit. Didn't switch the game. Sorry, back. Got to hit me on that. They switched so quick, I forgot.
Those that are just now seeing the game, we did get one refund Bornet. He looked through the deck, did not find a heart. We do not know if the heart is in the archive or the 6 cards in hand. I feel like he's still got to go back. Yeah, he does. He goes back. He's trying again. He sees a key abduction.
That's not bad.
He takes out the key abduction. So in Grant's deck, your win cons with heart are literally key abduction
and Chota,
and then key charge.
Or key charge,
right?
Yeah.
There's no Chota in this one.
Yeah, key charge, yeah.
So that's actually half the puzzle.
But the key charge is in the graveyard, so that's harder to get to, right? But he does have Infernuses, so if he gets to that Infernus on time, I guess that's good.
So one more Infernus hitting key charge here, and then I think we're going to see Grant in a situation where he doesn't know what to do.
Yeah, that's true. I believe that.
Or is this is this the deck that has KIP?
No. This deck has, his deck has like 3 Infernus, and he hasn't seen them yet, and that's kind of rough. Oh wait, oh no, yeah, because like Infernus would be huge, like because if he can get that Infernus before he gets these last 6 draws down, like that could be game over. Like it could be.
Eric is saying Jason just won, and I think it is because of the Bornet hitting the key abduction. I think, but the draw is down to 2. Jason has to purge the key abduction this turn, and it's not going to happen. He's going into Saurian.
Yeah. So like I think Grant's still alive with the key charge.
Yes. There is a scenario now where he's not completely annihilated.
Well, there's the Heart of the Force, and there's the Nepenthe Seed.
And that's what I mean about this deck being fast. Both decks being so fast. Like he's He's already gotten through his deck, and it's turn 7, which is about right.
Yeah, that.
Then the Infernus comes down one turn too late. I do feel it was probably over had Infernus been played last turn.
For sure.
The Hysteria just slows stuff down. He purged out his own tribute in Six Semper.
Yeah, because he doesn't want to, like, getting that amber now is really bad. He has to put Grant in a place where he gets amber, right? I don't know if I get rid of the tribute, though. I think the tribute is actually kind of useful, but I don't know what he's thinking. It'd be interesting to ask.
Yeah. Well, because you can exalt.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like, even if they had 0 amber, you can exalt.
Yeah. And purging it just means it's not coming back either. So like later in the game, that could be huge. But I guess kind of the idea too is with tribute, I guess, is that he gets 5 amber on that. Like Grant.
That was a huge archive.
And Grant gets that amber, like all of a sudden he's within that key charge range, right? So maybe having a big pile of amber is not where you want to be with that. You want to give him like 1 or 2 amber that gets him to a key, but not give him anything extra. I'm guessing that's probably the mindset.
Yeah.
I need a 3rd monitor.
It is very nice.
It's gonna be my birthday wish.
Guards Kirby's Blast.
Our Easter gifts to each other are going to be shelving units because we need a lot more shelving units.
Right. We have Grant playing into the Logos turn, covering up the Titan, killing Tabor. Just tossing cards. He is gaining amber. And his archive is 19 cards.
Yeah.
I don't know what the game plan on Jason's side is, but I definitely would have been like exalting
I'm going
the
to go
Raptors.
I'm going to go to time is what what his game plan has to be at this point, right?
I don't think so. Now he's purging the Raptors?
He doesn't. Yeah, because he wins if Grant can't make a key. And he does have the tools with the Infernus and stuff to kind of keep him off of key, right? So if he gets down to where he's at critical mass with the Infernuses, then he can make it so he can't ever make a key. And if he can't ever make a key, he wins with 1 key, right? Makes sense, I would think.
I mean, at some point, the Infernuses can't remove amber.
Mm-hmm. That means Grant can't make it.
Well, I mean, he would just be able to land creature reap with them.
He just kills the creature before they reap.
We'll see.
I think that's the only line he has, because that
But I mean, his archive is his whole deck right now. So if it were to go to like a time type thing, he would gain all of the amber he can from any one of the houses of 12 cards.
Well, I guess, but I think the idea here is like that he just makes it so there's 0 cards in hand. Like there goes all the cards.
All right, well, we're about to see something. 29 cards in hand. Cutthroat Research. Draw a card.
Value.
Something's gonna happen. Something's gotta. The archives Cutthroat with the Researcher. Titan Mechanic comes back again. And him a lot.
He discarded stealth mode, Corey, because he probably doesn't want amber. That's the only thing I could think.
And he also didn't play the Kirby Blaster. Igor does nothing.
It does something. All the cards are now out of his deck, so.
Well, his discard pile is already empty.
Yeah, but now he is in a position where he can reap like a bandit, so that is pretty good.
So he goes into check for his first key.
Well, that's because
there's the Raptor again. Discards the Failing Strike. Plays 6 Zipper to kill the Mechanic. Discard tribute.
Mm.
Grant gets key 1.
This is some next level playing here.
There's the seed.
Mm. So now,
Pastor.
if Jason hits key 2, Jason loses.
So what do you do?
Exactly what he's doing. He goes limbo. But the thing is he has to still get creatures off the board and be in a position to where he can.
So like what he just did there is what I would have been doing a long time ago with all the Legolas Raptors, but he
Just
purged 2 of them.
Yeah, that's what I don't get all that.
like that sounded like a possible win con for me because you could have forced Grant to go to second key with a little bit of effort. Especially with like the tribute and the failing strike, like these things can all exalt Amber.
Yeah, I don't know. We had to ask him when we talked to him because it's there's something that we're probably missing in the thought process here, but maybe not. But we'll figure it out.
All right, be a full
Is he
moon.
going to 2?
Nepseed back to full moon.
Him making a second key is kind of scary too, though, because it means that Jason can win with a double triumph, right? Like, or make a key triumph, right? Like that's a real thing. But
Well, you'd have to clear the board for that.
yeah, that's true. I don't think he has that, does he? Does he have?
He has the key to Dis, but then you don't have
Hysteria.
creatures on the board. He purged a lot of his actual creatures.
He has Hysteria still, right?
But that doesn't kill them, right?
It bounces them all off the table, though. That does put it live. And he does have a tribute left, and I don't believe he got rid of both 6 Emperors, just one, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's true. That's that's an out for him. Like well,
Again,
no,
though, we
because the
would have to
Hysteria is
see
in
a
a different
turn where he
house.
has 6 creatures on the board. The other side is empty, and that's beginning to be a much harder thing to accomplish the bigger the board gets.
Yeah, and then the Hysteria is not in the same house, so that makes it almost impossible to expect that. A failing strike can only do so much work.
The chat is saying this is a weird game. I agree. There's a lot of things I felt that could have been done on Jason's side that didn't happen. Mainly what is purged in the purge pile that was self-inflicted, I don't quite get. But we'll ask.
That's why post-game interviews are very important, because then you can just be like, tell us to shut up when we don't know what you're doing and you have a better plan.
So there is the key to Dis, but because he did purge, I don't think he ever actually had inside of
the key to this is actually great though, because there's no answer for that, and he can tribute now, like he can triumph and hit the
well, yeah,
the triumph.
it's going to be a bit of a setup though because he does not have creatures in story. In fact, he's purged a lot of creatures out of his deck.
He's got
2, 3, 4.
Gargantodon does hold Amber. He just has to get close enough.
He only has 11 creatures left in his deck.
Yeah. I'm guessing Grant should be killing that Gargantodon though. I think that's something that has to happen. But I guess he'll just draw it back at some point. So.
Red alert will do some work.
That's a lot of work. Yeah. Look at all that Amber on Grant's side.
Yep. You know, the funny thing was all the Amber control that is in Torkrune, it's not like that kind of Amber control. And there's another army back.
I still think he's not. I think Jason's angling for a two key turn. Like he's gonna slowly creep his Amber count higher and higher and try to get there. But the Mind Warper is gonna kind of put a crunch on that. So like I don't know if that can happen, but we'll see. Gargantodon has to be the target at this point, right? Like you have to kill it.
Why is Gargant?
That's the only out he has. Like any Saurian creature that comes to the board, if it dies, like he's not gonna have a chance to really pull off that combo. Well, I guess he could just play it all in one turn if that is the case.
Well,
Because
Triumph, you need 6 creatures on the board.
do you, or does it have?
I think you're missing that. That's why you don't understand what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. Well then, yeah,
No, no,
Jason's
it's
screwed.
because of how many creatures he purged, specifically the ones out of Saurian. It's real hard for Triumph to fire now.
Okay, yeah, I didn't.
Like, had his Saurian line
I
been in
forgot. I
his deck
forgot.
and he purged almost everything else, Triumph would have been a valid possibility.
No, there's only 5 Saurian creatures though.
Well, yeah, you have to
Yeah,
have one other
you have to
live,
play
but
them
like
all.
the Raptors themselves could punish the board enough on the other side,
Yeah,
especially with Failing Strike.
yeah, I agree.
Like, if his entire deck right now was just Saurian,
Yeah,
the odds would be in his favor to
yeah.
win.
I totally forgot that you had to have 6. I was stuck on the idea that there had to be 0 on the other side, and then
Yeah,
I was thinking
yeah,
because
but between the yeah,
I kind of intermingled Imperial Forge with it.
yeah. But if you were looking at tribute, 6 Ember,
Yeah,
and your Legatus line, there's a super good chance that he could have just Saurian won this.
yeah. I was definitely thinking more of Imperial Forge is what I was thinking. All right, that's the one that with the amber on the
Mm-hmm.
creature you can make a key.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, if this deck had Imperial Forge instead of Triumph,
Move.
I don't even know.
Move.
Then yeah, you tribute, Imperial Forge, then 6 Emperor, whatever. Like, get that out of here.
Is there a possibility that he could just deck him, like get all of the cards into Purge? Like go to a state where he loops and he's basically purging everything out of Grant's deck and then winning by reaping out and winning because there's nothing Grant can do. Is that what he's going for? That's like the only thing I think he has.
Oh, he gained an Amber. Gained, but yeah. This is the first time we've seen Jason gain Amber in a bit to draw 2 cards here. And then he discards Zap himself.
uh, I really think that that is the only way he can win is to purge everything in Grant's deck. Like get himself.
I don't even know if that's a real possibility with the way Grant's deck archives, right? Like, he's already got 7 in his archive already. And we've seen him empty his archive twice.
Mm,
So, like, what you're saying, like, I've done to a person, but, like, not against a deck that constantly archives. Because the Master of the Theory, the Titan Librarian, and the Researcher are all doing that.
I mean, Jason's literally trying to get it down to where he has 3 Infernus and Hysteria. He's going to try to power like dump on his deck. That's like all I can think he's gonna do. And he's not far from it. And he still has key to dis too, so like any creatures that come to the board could be instantly eaten by the Invernuses.
Well, I mean, Triumph is still in his deck.
See, there's a plan here. I'm not sure what it is, but it's gonna be something.
Is he going to try to Triumph twice with Kirby's Blaster? That's
Oh,
a scenario.
that's a loop. Yeah, he could do that. Now that's huge. That's big brain. That will be tracker talk this week if this.
I don't know if we need to tracker talk a game we cast, but like, that is
Oh,
literally all I see that is left. Is get to a scenario where all you have is 6 creatures, Kirby's Blaster, and like Failing Strike.
holy like gameplay right here on Jason. Jason is like another leveling this. I want to see him win this game just because like this is insane. He's just killing creatures so he can bounce them and like, eat them. This is great.
I mean, I think I identified the only possible win con, so let's see if this happens. If it does, yes, that's huge and well played. But
Oh my god.
if I'm Grant and I see that is the line, I don't know what I can do. I set up the situation. Like, keep playing creatures the best you can is the only answer to that. But eventually he's going to purge all your creatures because that's all he has. Freaking deck is purge.
And he has enough creatures.
Now,
He has enough creatures between Star Alliance and his dis that he's able to use the Kirby to use the Triumph. Like this is insane.
yeah,
Oh god, what a line!
yeah, because he has the platform. Because he can
What
draw 4 in a turn.
what a line! That's brilliant. There's 15 minutes left still. Sorry.
And it's turn 24, guys. These are the fastest 2 players I know.
Let me see if I can adjust the.
Most of us will not be hitting turn 24 in this amount of time.
Let me see if I can get the timer correct so you guys can feel the excitement.
Uh-oh. Are we at a point where he can consider it? Because we had a pause here. Oh, no. We see Kirby's start pile. Oh, he has. Oh, he has. Yeah. Fantastic. All right. So we see 6 creatures on the board. All right. No. Not yet. Not yet. All cards are in hand. Grant literally has to clear the board somehow.
There's 16 archived cards still.
But he didn't call his archive.
Yeah.
Does he not see it?
Yeah.
Just gonna take it?
I mean, there's no reason to take it yet.
I think this is a win right here.
He still has to set up to have 2 keys though, right? Like, is there an amber
Oh
consideration?
no, he's gonna play Triumph twice.
Oh, because he can. It doesn't require amber. It's just having 6
Yeah.
creatures. Oh, got it. That's nuts. That is nuts. But he has to get to 6 amber first, right? He has to go into that second key. And then Grant, as soon as he sets up for that, maybe Grant has got something in his archive that he can do. I don't know what it would be though. There's 6 creatures. That's dangerous.
I thought he was going for it that turn. I don't think it was guaranteed. The chance was there.
I don't think he's gonna rush at this point. It's like when he goes, he's gonna go for it and either get.
Which we saw him do before. There was a game we saw way early that I feel like he could have won 3 turns before. But like, I guess the math could have been in a weird spot.
Yeah, he errs on the side of winning.
which I'm very familiar with. I have a loop deck that I rarely ever try to for my combo until I know it's 100%. Even though
so Grant's in a good position here too because he can play all his cards and make 4 amber every turn, and basically recycle the cards.
But none of that matters.
No, not totally.
So this is it though. I think this is Triumph, Reap, Triumph. There it is. Bounces the Kirby and the Blaster.
Right, and then he draws the Triumph and wins.
And he draws it, plays it again, and wins. Which he could technically play with Tabor or Kirby.
Yeah. Wow, Jason. Next level.
All right, let's see if they
Bunkers!
come on board for a call.
Bunkers! I told you that Triumph was gonna do it. I just didn't know how. Wow. That's bonkers. Bonkers! Ooglook, be scared. He's coming for you. Oh, goodness. All right. So. That hurt my head. Let's go and get into the other join the call here. Let me get in here. Bloop. There I am.
There he is.
I'm coming. I was still like looking at this board and just thinking to myself, Jason, you are such a Dr. Evil.
So
Yeah.
let's start with the first question that should be asked. Grant, is that a line that you are aware of?
We've had many iterations of him purging his entire deck with Streetwise and then doing something janky. Usually it's stealth mode. I was not aware of the Triumph.
Oh, the Triumph.
Otherwise would have kept playing creatures.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I would say. Like the only thing you could, because like at some point, like the chat started talking, and I was like looking for the only iteration that I could see. And that, like, I was able to find it at some point, and then everyone was like, "Oh, that's what they must be trying to do." One of my earlier things was like, how early, Jason, did you decide to make that line? Because you also had an earlier line where you could have easily set up the Exalt chain with the Raptor. So I was curious about when you decided to do that.
It was kind of my game plan going
Okay.
into the match. I don't think Streetwise, if Grant didn't gather much Amber, which usually in most cases he doesn't, I didn't think I could sick tribute him pretty effectively. And even if I do push him onto a key, it's not unusual for a Newton to be able to just burst its remaining
Mhm.
key. So there was a fine line that had to happen, which specifically was he had to play Heart of the Forest before I went to key 2. And I was trying not to. If I went to key 2, then I just lose, ultimately.
Mhm.
So
you made that determination real early,
before the game.
which
Before the
makes
game.
okay. So that makes a lot of the purging just make a lot more clear. Because there is a scenario where you could have keyed him on his second key real early before like the heart even matters, and then you're just playing deck to deck.
It's
yeah,
always
that's
always
cool.
risky to do that. Yeah, just with that deck because it has the burst potential. I did get lucky and get the key abduction out, which saved my bacon a little
Well,
bit.
now's another thing. Did you have Infernus like the turn before that you went to the Saurian line? Because had you removed the key charge while it was in the discard, like there's no outs left for the heart deck.
Yeah, I don't remember if I did have that one at that point, but I was probably playing my line really dedicated.
Yeah.
I really knew I had to purge everything, and it was going to take a long time to get to an end state.
Yeah,
condition.
and it did. And like I was talking to Jupiter, like I have a deck that can do. It can purge my opponents all the way, or it can purge my own all the way. And you have to make that decision fairly early, or you're just going to lose if you go back and forth without a purpose. Which is actually in this event somewhere. But yeah, that was cool. That was really, really cool to see.
I think it's good to show how you can beat a Heart of the Forest in super non-conventional ways.
Well, I think your experience with Heart of the Forest makes that something that you can see better too, though. Like, right? Like, there's no doubt that you playing so much Heart of the Forest, you have a uncanny advantage whether you're playing against it or with it. So.
Yeah, much to the grief of my teammates when we practice, I can usually find the lines to beat them when they're practicing Heart of the Forest. So, and if I can't figure it out, then we give up and say it's a rough match, in other events that we play in. So and Grant does the same thing. He griefs me when we practice for the Premier League every week. So
yeah, you guys had a Civil War this week. You guys couldn't just get together and practice, so you had to call on the Erics and Uglux of the world to get your reps in, huh?
I didn't even know the game was today, so they had to remind me. So I didn't do anything.
Which was lucky for me.
I agree with testing Heart of the Forest deck. That's from our chat. Wow. So we asked almost everyone this. From game 1 to game 2, thoughts on staying with the initial deck, Jason?
I had to find. So, honestly, I thought about not playing Mother game 1, because I was sure he would play Leth on game 1, and I knew I was pretty much just going to get pounded into the dirt. But I realized that was mostly just for vanity purposes because I wanted to try to keep Mother undefeated in the league. And so I was like, well, just on the off chance he reverses
the other
order.
way.
I have to win that mother matchup. And that one gets to be, if it devolves into chaos, I usually do pretty well, which is kind of what ended up happening in our game. If you can sneak somebody onto a key,
Yeah.
It was going to kind of go that way.
So from either of you, like Mother versus Knutson, like what is the game plan? Because I know Grant said oops in chat or whatever when the second key was forged on his side.
Yeah, that was,
Like, is the plan for both of you not to go to key 2? Like,
yeah, you can't.
Yeah,
You can't.
There's no plan other than going to time, which is not a valid strategy.
Yeah.
Like at a point when he was purging his entire deck, I knew he was doing something that was going to ruin me. But I can't just make the game go 20 more minutes.
Right. And so in the heart versus heart matchup, at least part of what we had talked about, at least Grant and I, was to not do anything that purposely take time. So we didn't want to show what degenerate things people might do to a Heart of Forest deck that really aren't within the rules. Yeah. So but had it gone to time, like we did chat about it and thought about the hypotheticals of it. If neither player was willing to go to key 2, what would happen? Ultimately, what ends up happening depends a little bit on whose turn it ends on, but it ends with something like me playing Knowledge's Power for 25 Amber and winning on tiebreakers, kind of is the end state if nobody decides to play a game of Keyforge for 35 minutes.
So I have like a real life play question for both of you, because like these are viable decks in vaults, and even though never saw vault play, obviously there's Lost in the Woods, Rad Penny, Gambling Den. There's actually a lot more shuffle mechanisms, and it's coming inside of set like The stuff like that actually legitimately makes a game go longer affect whether you would take this to a vault.
It depends. So I did take Mother to the Albany Vault Tour, which was a survival event.
I know
and
that.
obviously I was pre-mass mutations. Yeah, I did play Jupiter in that event with Mother.
That's oof.
Yeah, and
that was my lesson from Albany though, because like I played the deck I traded with you and the deck I traded with Dave the day of, and so like I was like, I'm gonna play these decks because I've been waiting for these decks, and then like I had Dave's deck against his Heart deck, which is a great. It was actually a really good matchup for the deck I had, because it had like the Infurnuses and all the tools. But like even Jason was like, oh, this is a bad matchup for me, and I was like, yeah, but I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Like I was like, as soon as we started playing, I was like, I'm in a bad spot because I don't know what the hell to do. So
if you don't have reps against Heart, even if your deck does have the answers, you're probably have already lost.
Yeah, and then what we saw like both in real life play and in like Premier League play, even when people can practice, it's hard to get those lines, because as the Heart player, you get to set the nature of the game. So it's not a Heart game until I play Heart, right?
Yes, for
and
sure. And that's why your decks are specifically good, is because Plan B is not a feint. Actually threatening, and Keyforge any deck can win as long as they have a chance to threaten.
Yeah, I've seen Grant triple key cheat with Newton and no Heart of the Forest down. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, a bunch of times.
Yeah, it's good.
Thank you for the follow, Polar. If you haven't followed us yet, make sure you follow us. Yeah, like I don't know, man. I got my question goes all the way back to the selection process. Like I was completely off on the selection this time around, and I thought for sure that Grant, you wouldn't be that scared of his Heart of the deck. But Jason, I was surprised that you let him have a Heart deck, honestly, because you didn't have.
Well, now we know why, because he saw a line.
Yeah. Usually I can find ways to beat him, but the reason why is because Elk, Mother could not beat his other two decks. Elk and Lath. So if he didn't ban Mother, I would just lose the series for sure. Yeah. So it wasn't left with much of a choice. Elk is probably our team's strongest deck, actually, I think, and we have some strong ones.
It's super fast.
And I pointed that out about Elk in the pregame. Like, this is the type, like that type of deck is why I love him. It's got all the tools, playing cards that threaten all the time.
Yep. Cyberclone is a clutch card. It's really good.
Yeah, I have a deck. All right, last question before we bow out and get ready for our next event. If you guys end up in the 2-3 spot, think you banned the same decks.
Now we're asking for classified information.
I'm just poking fun.
There are no winners there, I'm going to tell you.
Yeah,
No, very sad.
Yeah, that would be lose-lose. There's my own team is giving me grief about it. It's like, dude, we set the rules. We're not changing them. Whatever. Like, if you're upset about that possibility, you should have won your bracket.
that was our attitude, but then we both got stumped. So
Yeah, but, I mean, who's gonna catch this goat? It's still undefeated.
I know he's on the loose.
So,
He's unarmed and winning the war.
yeah,
I
don't
know.
need arms.
But he had the perfect lineup to beat our Heart of the Forest lineups. So it's good on him.
He came in with a really good triad selection.
Yeah, his triad choices were really solid.
Like, I don't know if I would have picked any of them specifically to go into a vault event, but like for what he's playing against week to week, he has really good triad.
Yep.
So that's well chosen on.
And playing really well too. If you look at his lines, so it's been excellent. In our group, we have a lot of great players in our group.
So you guys,
as most do.
So Jason, it's on you now, right? Like you have to catch the goat so that Grant has a chance to not have to play against you.
The goat controls his own destiny. I can't stop him now. He's on
that's true. He's already ran through.
Yeah, the only people the goat have not played because he's already gone through half of SAS. He's gone through both KIP, took out Future Beans. He still has to play X-Ray and Ewok.
Yeah, I think
that's it.
Yep.
So
he's doing a great job.
Yeah, he's the surprise. Like last season, our surprise was Rodion. Like he came out of nowhere and like was like just crushing people and like.
I was a victim. Yep.
Yeah, he was surprising in this season. I had to say he's the that Cinderella story that in the beginning nobody was like, unarmed goat is going to win this hands down. This is the easy bracket.
But, I mean, I'd have to go back to look. I'm unarmed goat might have gotten 1 vote if he filled it out.
Maybe two, because Steel would have voted
with
for
his partner Sydney.
Yeah. But
yeah, I think we're gonna wrap that up here. I'm gonna grab a snack before we do our second cast. Good luck in the event. I hope it doesn't end up being you two against each other, but if it doesn't, we'll be back to see if things play out the same or they are different.
Yeah, so
good.
So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back to the starting screen. I'll put a countdown on for when we'll be back.
And next time, Grant's going to know that the double triumph is possible.
Actually,
he's going to do it next time.
Practice.
In practice, yes.
Yeah.
Fill out the form, please, sir.
All right, we'll do. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys, for everything.
Bye.
All right, Grant. Or actually, Z already took off on me too, but I guess that's it for right now. We're going to take a quick break. I will end the stream here in a second. Z's back, so if he wants to say anything. But I think we're just going to kill the stream because it's going to be a bit before we start, right? Because it's at 10 is when they're supposed to start, right?
Our next match is going to start at 9:30 Eastern Time.
Oh, 9:30? Okay. So
wait, hold on. No.
Right.
I looked at the wrong day. 10 o'clock Eastern Time.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's 10 o'clock, right? Like
so 42 minutes.
Yeah, so 42 minutes. So I think we'll just drop the stream for now, and we'll come back and you'll get an alert again when we go live again. But that is pretty much the first half of this awesome night of gameplay. And if you don't know who the two coming up are, Corey Than is a 2-time Vault Tour winner, Flaming Hobo a 1-time Vault Tour winner. Corey Than, an OG team of Team SAS, and Flaming Hobo on the quote-unquote rival of Team SAS early on, Reap Out, which they were the two first super teams that showed up that made people talk and get worried about the state of Keyforge, like our worry wards like to do. But going to be a great matchup. I can guarantee you that. Corey Than and Flaming Hobo, both amazing players. They both have very solid lineups. So hopefully that's what's going to be. So we will be back soon. You got anything else, Z?
Yeah, I look forward to seeing you guys log in and watch some more Keyforge soon. I'm excited. I'm going to go grab a snack, and then we're going to be here to cast some more Keyforge.
And at the end of the next event, we'll have more announcements about Season 3. So stick around for those. Talk to you guys soon.
See ya.
Nice.